Hey, we're Snappers, this is Tortimer with Gray. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Gray Version Season 3. Today we are doing our ZU Dragon Gym battle, which will ramp up the ZU tier for us. Most tiers at this point are going to be we'll be doing about 2 weeks, as you guys are probably aware. We'll do a standard week where we do the 1 through 3. Rival, Evil Team, or Root, and then we'll wrap up the tier with a gym battle the next week. So, this is our second week in ZU, and you'll see some of my team is still the same. We've got Glinda the Hatterum, we've got Oleander the Gloom, and we've got Glyph the Runagrigus, but we've got a couple of other teammates here. We've got Mara the Ice Cube, we had Thor the Electivire, and then we had Luna the Wigglytuff. Fraxure taking down Mara. Glinda comes in. We've got the rocks and the toxic spikes up. Down goes the Zwelos of Gym Trainer Arctic Animal, or Mac as he's better known in our community. Oleander then going to take the Dragon Claw. Oleander was, good lord, the defenses on this Pokemon. I have never relied on a member of the Oddish family so much. It was just holy cow. I originally put the Oddish on my team back in the Little Cup tier because I was like, well, Fungus would be too good, and it was a first route battle, and I was like, okay, well, first route, I wouldn't really have a Fungus, but you can get Oddishes on the first route, and let's go, so let's do that. Not knowing how just pivotal Oleander would be to my team. It was quite impressive. So here comes Luna. Luna v Altaria. Bane of my existence. Well, we're gonna have quite a few turns throughout the course of this episode. Just Luna v Altaria. Altaria's bulk is good, and Luna's special attack is not exceptional. So the decent bulk of Altaria versus the weaker attack of Luna really made kind of a lengthy battle there, and that one even against Mac was without Luna using her Wish Protect combo, healing herself up. Well, there's a wish, and then without Max Altaria using Roost a bunch. So yeah, I eventually was like, okay, if there's an Altaria on this team, by the end of the week, I'm like, Luna cannot take on Altarias. Maybe I'll switch it in, but then I've got to have Thor or Mara or somebody in the background to just come in and do an ice move because I'm so sick of roosting Altarias. Next final Pokemon, Dracolat comes in and finishes off Oleander with the Fire Blast. One of the few things that the Oleander couldn't really tank. So there we go. Thank you so much for the battle this week, Gym Trainer Mac. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, starting us off on the same trend as last week, where ZU's not really my tier, but we'll see how that continues throughout the rest of the gym. Thank you so much again, Mac. Let's head into the next one. Alrighty guys, battle number 2 up against Gym Trainer Nougat, and Glyph takes in hard Outrage, sets up the rocks, and then we switch into Luna because obviously Outrage, you get locked in to Outrage, and so I knew the next move was going to be another Outrage, so I figured bring Luna in who's immune. Glyph comes in and is going to go up against the Aurora Borealis. We had a couple of, actually we had a lot of Aurorases in the Dragon Gym for a rock ice type, I guess. But several people attempted to use that Meteor Falls or whatever that move just was, and I don't think any of them ever connected. So, and I think I even asked after like the second or third time it happened, I was like, what is the accuracy of this move? And they're like, it's a 90% accurate move. But in Pokemon, if it's not 100% accurate, it's 50% accurate basically. Charmu comes in. Charmu is Nougat's starter from like Gray Version Season 1 or 2, so good to see Charmu back in action here. Oleander comes in and puts Charmu in its place, and then Cosmoem, for some reason, on Nougat's Dragon Gym team, goes down as well. Nama Man goes down as well. Oleander just being a beast. Don't know if that's Sludge Bomb, taking a Dragon Pulse like no trouble. I just go for the Sludge Bomb here. I figure I can finish off the Appleton. Gonna take an Earthquake there, and Oleander goes down. And then Mara comes in. Mara's gonna take a hard Iron Head. Mara has the ability Ice Face. I never caught or battled this Pokemon when I played through Pokemon Sword and Shield that I can recall. Ice Face is basically like Mimikyu's Disguise, except for it only works on physical moves, I guess, as far as I'm aware. I haven't really looked back, because I think they tweaked Disguise too, so I'm not super clear on how that worked, but that gave some people some issues this week, and we will take a look at how that played out in a little bit. But we got a lot of battles, so I'm not going to stick around here too much longer. So thank you so much, Gym Trainer Nuke. I greatly appreciate it. Let's jump into the next one. Here we go. Alrighty, so up against Gym Trainer Codeman, and leads off with their Showdown, just going straight for the Dragon Dances. Glyph gets the burn up to help nerf some of that attack strength. Showdown then going to switch out as Glyph just kind of continues to throw up spikes and stuff. He was nice and bulky, and really, like, especially in the Dragon Gym, he didn't really have any moves that were going to be, like, super useful against dragons, so I basically just, like, let Glyph absorb moves and throw up whatever hazards he could in the time that he was there. Thor goes down to the Appleton. Mara comes in, sets up the substitute. Took me a couple of battles this week to get Mara's ability really figured out. Some of the wording on Smogon, at least, was a little bit confusing, or at least in retrospect, not. It makes a lot of sense in retrospect, but for myself, in reading it for the first time, never having used or caught or battled against the Pokemon, not really knowing what exactly I was getting myself into, and so it was one of those things where it's just like, I took a couple of battles where it's like, what? How did that? Why didn't that work? What is this? What is? And so, yeah, like, I think in the battle against Mac, it worked one time, and then it didn't, like, it only, Ice Head only works if you get hit, if you take the first damage, or, like, you get hit first. If you move first in a battle, it doesn't work, like, if you get hit second. So it took a while to fine-tune my understanding of exactly what was going on there. I thought about using Lapras as my ice Pokemon, because I didn't have a water Pokemon either. I was like, what Lapras? I'm like, Lapras would be too good, and I wanted to use the gimmicky, like, I wanted to use the stupid Ice Blockhead Penguin. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. So I think I was talking in the Discord, I'm really torn between using a good Pokemon or a funny Pokemon, and Mara was the funny Pokemon. I also could have probably used a better Fairy type, but I only put Luna on the team at the very end. I think originally when I said my team is ready in the Discord, Luna wasn't even on the team, but it took people so long to get me a challenge after that point that I kept kind of tinkering with that final slot, and Luna ended up getting in there. But yeah, so thank you so much for the battle. Gym Trainer Codeman did pretty good. I mean, you only had 4 Pokemon on his team, but he managed to take out 4 of mine, 4.5 with Luna there, and Glyph was probably not at full health either. So yeah, pretty good showing from Codeman there. Thank you so much, Gym Trainer Codeman. Let's jump into the next one, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty, guys, and here we are up against Gym Trainer Espresso Cat, and they lead off with Melody, their Altaria. A lot of Altaria. I mean, obviously, I think there was only like 2 fully. So Appleton, Flapple, and Altaria, I think, were the only fully evolved dragon types in the ZU tier. So obviously, then everybody else had to go in and get not fully evolved, or used, you know, on theme but off type, or, you know, whatever. So a lot of Altarias and stuff this week, and so it was kind of interesting. One of the later battles, we'll get to that in a bit, obviously, but I started getting used to the trend, because a lot of you guys were using your Altaria specifically very familiarly. You had the roosting and the defogging and all that kind of stuff. And so I think my last battle of the week, I think when we get up against Update doesn't do that, and I was like thrown off because I'd done so many Altaria battles that I was just like, wait, what? You didn't get rid of the rocks, and that screwed up one of my other strategies. And so yeah, it was definitely interesting. But Melody comes in, it throws up the Steel Wing, it misses, allowing Luna to get the Wish and the Protect up. So yeah, here we're gonna have a Luna Altaria face-off here. Luna does come out at this point though, because I'm like, oh gosh, this is gonna take forever. Altaria going to set up the Tailwind, and Oleander going to stay in, throw up the Strength Sap. Doesn't get the attack lower because of Clear Body, but I do get my health restored, which is good to know. And then Oleander going to throw up that Moonblast and take out the Dracolock. Melody keeps switching in and hurting itself with Rocks damage. I think it'd probably do more Rocks damage to this thing than I've done otherwise, but finally able to take that thing down. The Escargot. Oh, that's funny. I didn't catch that when we were first battling it yet, but there we go. Escargot comes in and gets toxic damaged, so the Protect not going to be doing it a lot of help, but Oleander is paralyzed here, so not going to be able to do super reliable. In fact, we get the Parahacks a couple of times in a row. Unfortunately for Ekad, though, Escargot is already toxic damage, so the stalling not really helping him a ton because he's going to be gone here in a second no matter what he does anyway. So Mara comes in, gets the substitute up. Mara then going to throw up the Icicle Crash. Super effective. It's got a Yache Berry to protect it against Ice-type moves, which makes sense. Gets the Curse up, and then we're going to hit it with another one. Not enough to finish, but do get the flinch, and then the toxic damage finishes it up despite its defense boost. So thank you so much for participating this week, Gym Trainer Ekad. I greatly appreciate it. Let's jump into the next one, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty guys, here we are up against Gym Trainer Shunosaurus, and Shunosaurus leads off with the aforementioned Lapras, and going to get a sub up as I set up rocks and toxic damage and stuff. Glyph then goes down. Again, I mean, I guess in this battle, Charmeleon potentially could be, Glyph could be useful for that, but in most battles it's like, there's really nothing that Glyph can handle that somebody else couldn't handle, so I'm kind of just like, yep, you go do your thing, Glyph. Stay alive as long as you can, and that'll be great. In comes Cindy, and Cindy's going to throw up the defog here, as most Altarias do. And Oleander going to set up the Strength Sap, get a little bit of health back. Lower attack, which obviously lowering the attack doesn't really do anything because Altaria is a special attacker, but it's mostly there for me to get a little bit of health back. Thor comes in and going to go down. Just didn't really have a good switch in there. Probably should have saved Thor, but... Sapphire going to come in and take a hard Psychic. I'm just like, forget it, let's just do it. Stab Psychic. I really I guess I mentioned earlier that I put Luna on the team like at the last minute. I forget who else I'd had in there. Oh, I wish I could remember. I probably have it written down somewhere. There was like 2 other Pokemon that were on the team prior to like me making the final snap decision to add Luna. I think I even mentioned in the Discord because we were talking about how I was like deciding between a funny or favorite Pokemon versus a good Pokemon, and I think I even said at one point, like just before my first battle, you know what? I actually just made a decision that probably makes the team worse. Yeah, I wasn't gonna put like I didn't want to put another Fairy type on the team, like because I'd already added the Ice type, but I didn't want to be like too overpowering. Like obviously going into a gym, you know what type it is, so you would stack your team in favor. So it's not like I was using an unfair advantage knowing what the type was, because that's just how gyms work. But I because my starter is gonna be a Fairy type, like I almost didn't want to do it, but I'm like, well, it's not a Fairy type yet though, it's a Psychic type. And so I finally was like, you know what? We can't go into the gym without a Fairy type. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. So I went ahead and did that, which did end up being really useful. Especially a lot of you guys were running Zwelos, which seemed to throw up Outrage a lot. And so it was good to have some sort of immunity to switch in. I was like, I can't like let them set up and then throw Outrages and then, you know, just wreck us. But there's Mascot, the not Dragon finishing off our team, and Shunosaurus handing us our second defeat of the week. Thank you so much for participating this week, Shunosaurus. I greatly appreciate it. Let's jump into the next one, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty guys, here we are up against Gym Trainer Scad, and in the intervening fade between the battles, I did pull up. At one point I was messing with the team. I was like, alright, I want to save what I've got here, and if I can come up with something better. So I copied and pasted the import-export text into a notepad file. So I did have that. I think the other 2 Pokemon that I was playing around with, I think I did at one point still have Ridley, my Caracosta, on the team. Water Rock, I didn't have a water type, but then I'm like, I think I was eventually like, yeah, but water is resisted by, like, I don't need a water type because water is resisted. And I think at one point I was going to have Lapras in there potentially, but then I was like, but I really want to use Mara, and so I didn't want to have 2 ice types on the team. Didn't think that would be fair. And then the Pokemon that I did end up having on the team and then took off to add Luna was Mawile. I had Frank the Mawile on there, and so that was the Pokemon that Luna came in. I think Mawile probably, yeah. Hey, Scad's got a Mawile right there. Scad did have kind of an unusual team. She really wanted to shake things up, so she had Mawile, and then she had Ditto, which the Ditto was actually the most challenging thing. I mean, I hadn't really planned to battle Ditto, or battle myself rather. So yeah, her Ditto comes in and postures into Glinda, and I'm like, I have nothing for Psychic types. Even my Ghost type didn't have Ghost type moves on it, so I'm like, don't know what we're gonna do here. Glinda doing much more damage to me than I was doing to her. Although we did get the crit there, which definitely helped, which I feel bad about. But But yeah, so Mawile was the one that I took off the team for Luna. I just was like, obviously, yeah, Steel type, coverage could be helpful, but at the same time, Wigglytuff. I gotta have Wigglytuff. So yeah, Mara and Wigglytuff were my two, like, helpful, but probably not as helpful as I could have been going type additions this week. So thank you so much, Gym Trainer Scad, for your battle. I greatly appreciate it, and for shaking up the formula a little bit. Interesting to see Ditto and Mawile in there. Yeah, so thank you so much for the battle. I greatly appreciate it. We've got, like, this is like the halfway point, so we're gonna move on, but thank you so much, Scad. I greatly appreciate it. Here we go. Alrighty, guys, here we are up against Gym Trainer Klungar, and we've got the standard Gabite lead in, or, I mean, not everybody did it, but a lot of people had Gabite come in against Glyph. We were both throwing up rocks and everything like that. So Glyph taking a hard Hydro Pump from the Lapras there, though, going down. Still able to get rocks and one layer of Toxic down. Thor comes in and uses the Thunder Arm, or the Thunder Arm, Hammer Arm. Hammer Arm, because Lapras was the Ice type, so I was like, yeah, we'll do this. Because I figured Gabite would come in, and so I wanted to do some damage. Thor then switches in, the Altaria gets up the Defog. I'm going to throw up the Ice Punch at this point, and Thor then switches out. Glinda comes in, going to take the Iron Head. Thankfully, Glinda is not a fairy yet, and in this instance at least, it is helpful. This infamous Sucker Punch. So Klungar used this Sucker Punch, and it missed. And our battle paused for like 10 minutes as he's like, whoa, what's going on? It glitched. We got to start over. It's like, no, I don't think it glitched. And so we did a bunch of research, and finally, like, after the fact, we realized, oh, he just had Hustle on his Flapple, which lowers your accuracy by like 25% or something. But yeah, so there we go. Then throw the Hammer Arm up here again. Thor coming out. Oleander taking that Draco Meteor. Oleander then going to get the Strength Sap up and heal back almost to full. Well, not quite to full, 60%. Oleander just too good. Gets another heal off there, but then going to take a Hurricane and take some more damage. And then throw up the Moonblast. Oleander also, especially with it not being stab, not really strong enough in the special attack to really be able to take down an Altaria. It's just bulky enough, and my special attack is just crappy enough that just really not able to get through those defenses. So Oleander going to throw up the Moonblast, going to go down to the... I want to say the ability on Auroras is Refrigerate. It turns normal. It's kind of like the Ice Pixelate. It turns normal type moves into stab Ice type moves. Luna then switches in. Altaria going to come in. I throw up the Hyper Voice. Then Altaria again keeps doing the Roost thing. So yeah, my special attack is just really not strong enough to get through the defenses on these things. I think I do get sick of this here in a minute or two. We'll see how long I just let it go on. But then I do believe we're going to do a switch into Thor, maybe into Thor, maybe. Oh man, really do let this drag on, huh? Klungar eventually gets sick of it too, throws up the Toxic, and then keeps doing the Roost, figuring like, well, if we're just gonna do this, obviously Luna doesn't have the power unless we're just crossing our fingers for a crit to actually take down Altaria, and so he's like, well, let's let the Toxic tick away then while we just kind of waste our time doing this. Eventually I'm like, yep, nope, that is a waste of time. Let's bring in Thor. Thor has the Choice Scarf, so gets the Ice Punch off real quick and finishes off the Altaria. At which point then Amba comes in. I'm gonna let Amba finish off Luna, I believe. Yep. And then Thor's gonna come back in, and we're gonna Choice Scarf Hammer Arm and finish off the Amba there. So thank you so much for the battle, Gym Trainer Klungar. I greatly appreciate it. A very close battle there, so that was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for participating this week. We've got a couple more gym trainers and then the gym leaders, so let's head on over to it. Here we go. Alrighty guys, gym trainer just me though there, and we've got the Gabite trading Stealth Rocks with Glyph, and Glyph getting up one layer of Toxic, 2 layer of Toxic, and then switching into Gloom. Gloom able to tank the Earthquakes very easily, despite its poison typing. Then we're going to get the Strength Sap up and heal Oleander back up, get all that rocks damage gone. Thunderbolt then comes in. I think just me, though, was like, he switched into Sliggoo and then was like, I totally forgot what moves I put on this. He had nothing for Oleander there. I think he was maybe hoping he had Ice Beam on it or something, but no dice. Glyph then comes in. The Altaria is going to do the Defog. I get the Will-O-Wisp up. I'm like, at the very least, let's get a little bit of chip damage on this on Altarias. I was so sick of dealing with Altarias by this point in the week. Gabite then switches in and throw up the Ice Punch. Gabite gets frozen and then it goes down. I think Oleander got frozen a little bit earlier this week too. I think in Sword and Shield, maybe it was a little bit before Sword and Shield, but I know definitely in Sword and Shield, it's got buffs for some of those secondary effects or whatever. I think it's like went up from like 20% to 30. I mean, I think some of those kinds of secondary effects, or like to be confused, hit yourself in confusion, or like be paralyzed. I think some of that stuff got buffed a little this generation. I could be wrong. Then Mara comes in, sets up the Substitute, gonna get the Belly Drum off and get our boosted attack. And it's also got, I think Mara had some berry. Well, let me look at it. The Salak berry. When we were under 25% or 30% health or something, it gives us a speed boost. So we got our attack and our speed boost there. The Flapple has the Sucker Punch, but we still had our Ice Head intact, so not able to get through our defenses. And Sliggoo uses the Protect, but Sliggoo's got the Toxic. Protect's not going to help it for long, and it fails on the second turn. And Mara able to finally live up to her potential and sweep through the rest of Just Me Those teams. So an interesting little Pokemon, certainly a bit of a gimmick, and doesn't really work. I think because, as I said before, it's like physical only disguise. So if anybody had hit, and a couple times they did, hit Mara with a special attack, it bypasses the Ice Head and things like that. So pretty situational, especially against dragon types. We got a lot of special dragon types in here as well as physical. So pretty hit and miss. I think Mara at most in other battles had gotten like 1 or 2 kills, but this one finally she lived up to her potential and we got the sweep there. Felt bad about sweeping. You guys know I always prefer a close battle that I win, obviously is my preference, but a close good battle. But yeah, Mara she just went, and sometimes I would be like, I would feel bad and I would switch out, but I'm like, this is the first time we're getting a good Mara representation here, so I wanted to let that play out. So thank you so much for getting good sport, Just Me Though. I greatly appreciate it. Let's jump into the final gym trainer battle, and then we will see who our gym leader for the week is. Here we go. Alrighty, guys, up against the final gym trainer here this week, and we've got Glyph and Gabite sharing Stealth Rocks. Glyph gets Toxic, Gabite gets burned, and then we get Roared Out, which is the first encounter with that for today. The Magic Bounce tries to bounce the Toxic back, but we've already burned the Gabite, so that's not going to help. Glinda then able to tank the Earthquake. I actually switched up Glinda. I didn't mention this earlier. I actually switched up Glinda's set, which may have been a bit of a detriment. I don't think it really played in hugely, though, this week. We actually had a pretty decent win percentage this week, obviously, because you guys were stuck mono-type, more or less, and I was able to prepare for it better. But, although I try not to go overboard. Like, I've got an Ice-type and a Fairy-type, but I didn't, like, stack the team. Like, anyway, nobody really complained. But Glinda has in the past been a bulkier set, and I decided to go for a more special attacking set. I think she had the choice specs or whatever this week, so I was trying that out. I don't think she still had like the power that made it like super worthwhile. Maybe bulky is just the way to go, at least till we get to like Gigantamax form or something, but we were able to test out a little bit of a different set with her this time. Delta then going to throw up the Outrage, which Luna is immune to. Luna able to finish that off. Apple Thing switches in, and then Oleander going to switch in, take that grab apple like it's nobody's business, and Apple Thing is going to get some poison damage. U-turn on out into Wiggles. Wiggles comes in, takes the rocks and the poison, throw up the Sludge Bomb there. Going to set up those Dragon Dances. I keep throwing up Sludge Bombs until I realize what's happening there. It gets the rest going, and then I think we're going to start setting up Strength Saps here. Yeah, I'm like, well, you can have the speed if you want it, but I'm not going to let you have all that free attack. Oleander then going to throw up the Moonblast. Really not doing good there. We do get the special attack lower, which works out nicely, because I think, well, it's throwing up Outrage, so I guess it's not special attacking. We're going to keep chipping away at Wiggles. It's going to keep resting. I think I get one more strength sap here, and then I believe that Oleander is going to come out. Yeah, we bring in Mara. I figure with the Asleep, twice on the last two, both of its first turn of rest, it like attempted to use rest under Sleep Talk, which is unfortunate. This time I do attempt to set up the belly drum though, and I don't have the HP for it, and so Update laughed at me about that. But still able to set up the Icicle Crash, the Outrage, the Ice Face absorbs the first one, which is great, and then we were able to land the Icicle Crash and finish off the Dragonair. Update, a lot of you guys, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to use it, because it was obscure and a derpy Pokemon, but a lot of you guys, especially like Update and just me though, once I've actually got Mara working properly, we're like, what is happening? What is going on here? Like, I'm not the only one who's never really messed around with this Pokemon at all, and so it was interesting to kind of get that kind of surprise factor of like, haha, you can't hurt me or kill me immediately sort of thing. So that was fun. I don't normally get to use strats that surprise people because you guys are all so much better at this than I am. But hey, when it comes to garbage Pokemon, Tortimer's your man. So thank you so much for participating this week. Update, I greatly appreciate it. Let's jump into our gym leader battle and see if we get our badge. Here we go. Alrighty guys, and here we are up against gym leader Flygon, and Pocket Flygon, it leads off with Social Distance, his Zuelos, doing great damage against Glyph. Glyph only able to get the rocks up, and then the Zuelos switches out in the face of the fairy type Luna. Pocket Full, his shiny Vibrava, is going to go down to Luna's Dazzling Gleams there, and then Sara comes in. I switch Luna out in face of the Lapras. Figure Oleander can handle that a little bit better. Obviously, we're going to get healed back up from the Strength Sap because that's just what Oleander does. Thor then switches in, and I believe I'm going to go for Hammer Arm here. Yeah, I go for Hammer Arm just in case, although Pocket doesn't have a ground type anymore. He went Vibrava as opposed to Gabite, so the Vibrava's already been taken care of. Mara then throws up the Icicle Crash, not going to do great, and then going to go down to the Charmeleon there. Thor switches in, Photo comes in, uses Ripen, and heals back up. We throw up the Earthquake, just kind of trying to predict switches, and then he predicting my prediction, and so we just kind of do this dance a little bit here. Oleander then going up against another Altaria. Oleander and Luna really got saddled with lots of slow Altaria battles this week. Lizzie then comes in and takes hard rocks damage. With the special attack lower, I decided to just leave Oleander in and let her do it, and her bulk is sufficient to the task at that point. Gonna take a hard Ice Beam from Sorrow, though, and go down. Thor then switches in at that point. At that point, I predict what's going to happen with the switch because I think we already had Lapras into Appleton, so I went ahead and just did that. Thor throws up the Ice Punch and then going to go down against the Zuelos with the Outrage. Luna is immune, though, which is helpful, and Zuelos going to go down. Sorrow then switches in, gets the Iron Head off. Not going to be enough to finish Luna. I believe that at this point we're going to go for the... yeah, we go for the... Oh, yes. I wanted... Because Luna's got leftovers. I wanted to get just enough a little health back from the leftovers that I could survive the next Iron Head. And then I threw up the Wish and was able to heal back some damage there. I think I'm probably going to do it again. Nope, we switch out into Glinda. Glinda takes a hard Ice Beam, throws up the Psychic, gets Sorrow in a good range, and then going to go down to the Sparkling Aria, which I think... Isn't that a signature move of Poplio or whatever? Anyway, Luna comes in, and it's just down to Luna and Altaria here. I think this is... I think this is the one where I have burned in my memory of just the stall-out war. I think we've got like 10 turns of this. But Luna heals back to full, and Altaria is at full, and then it's just a battle of attrition here. So basically what it's going to boil down to is that Luna is doing more damage than Altaria, and even though Altaria can heal back in one turn, and it takes us 2 turns to heal, with Flygon taking the turns to do the roosts, my leftovers is able to heal up enough. 2 turns of leftovers is able to heal up enough that basically the damage he's doing is negligible in the long run. And so it just becomes a race for criticals there. So we just got the critical, we got the critical Dazzling Gleam there. We got another one here. So we're getting lucky enough that we're doing just enough damage that that it's going to work out in the end. And I do think eventually here that Flygon just gives up on the roosting. Because I don't really see. Maybe we get 2 crits in a row. I don't really remember. At this point, it's a PP bat. Oh, we get the special attack lower. Oh, but then we got the competitive boost. That's what's happened. I'm like, I don't really know how this play finishes out. But yeah, because of Wigglytuff's ability, I believe once you get hit into 30% range or 20%, I forget which range it is, you get the 1.5 special attack boost, which was what gave us enough to just get through the Altaria's defenses and finish it out. I'm like, I don't remember. How does this finish out? So there it was. Yeah, I think the competitive boost came in one other time as well. But yeah, so it seems fitting that Pocket Flygon, our resident ground dragon type, ended up being the dragon type gym leader. His battle was just the closest. You guys know the gym leader candidates are always pulled from the pool of whoever has the closest battle that I win. And it came down to 1v1, which I think was the only time that happened today. So, or this week. So yeah, thank you so much for participating this week, Flygon. I greatly appreciate it. A fantastic candidate for gym leader, and seems fitting given your branding. So I greatly appreciate that, Flygon. I greatly appreciate everybody who participated. Now let's quickly jump over to the spreadsheet because this episode's getting long, and see what all you guys are going to be building your teams into for next week. Here we go. Alrighty guys, here we are at the spreadsheet, and you can see here we've got Dragon type grayed out, Fighting type grayed out, so we've had 2 gyms. Those types will no longer be in use. Little Cup and ZU grayed out with us getting that gym badge. We are now have now completed the ZU tier, which means we're moving into the PU tier. PU! And so we will be randomizing then. This first week will be an encounter that will randomize. It'll be either a rival battle, a root trainer, or an evil team encounter. And then the week after this will be an automatic gym battle. So let's go ahead and we're going to put 1 through 3. And then we're going to go up. I'm going to go up here and we're going to randomize. And we get 3, which is an evil team encounter. Okay, that's fun. Yeah, no, we haven't had an evil team encounter yet, so that's fantastic. Alrighty, so you guys have to build your evil team PU teams. And obviously, no real restrictions here. It can really be anything, but the themes are mostly just for you guys to have fun building different teams. So build what you feel like an evil team in the gray version would be. Use your Rattatas or your poison types or your dark types or whatever you think screams evil team to you guys. Get those teams built, and we will have our first encounter up against the evil team this week. So very much excited, looking forward to that. Battles will begin Monday morning. I think this episode's probably going to go up later today, which I'm recording this on Friday. So hoping to be able to get it edited and uploaded by the end of the day. Maybe it'll come out Saturday morning at this point. We'll just kind of see. But either way, battles will begin Monday. Battles always for a given week begin on Monday so that I've got time to put my team together. And usually Monday through Friday is when I'm actually at my desk. Most weekends I'm not really available to jump on the computer as much as otherwise. So thank you guys so much for participating in the Little Cup and ZU tiers. Looking forward to seeing you guys out there for PU as well. I don't think we've had anybody pop into the comments or anything who wants to participate, who hasn't participated so far. But if anybody does want to jump in at this point, you're more than welcome to do so. Obviously, there's no restrictions on which week you come to. You can drop them for 1 week of the series. You don't have to, there's no continued thread. You can't say, well, I haven't been here for the last couple of weeks. I can't really jump in now. None of that. If you've been here for every week up to this point and you don't want to jump in this week, like, again, there's no requirements or restrictions. So, links in the description down below to take you to Showdown, which is the free battle simulator that we've been using. It's a browser, or I think you can put it on your desktop. I think you could even use it on mobile type application, where you just kind of build teams there. It doesn't require catching or anything like that. It's all just a battle simulator. So you just put your team together in the team builder, and then you're ready to go. So links to that's free, doesn't even require registration. And then also in there, in order to know, in order to connect with me to do a battle, you've got to join my Discord. In our Pokemon channel, you would just ping me at Tortimer and say, hey, I'm ready to do my battle, and that's how we connect. I know in seasons past we did it where, like, I just hung out in one of the Smogon chat rooms for, like, 8 hours a week, and you guys would then be able to connect with me there. Just me spending a lot of time hanging out. We're not doing that anymore with the I think when we started this, Discord wasn't really a thing. So, now that we've got our Discord community kind of established, and Discord is a very useful tool, if you want to participate, you just have to join the Discord. That is also a mobile, desktop, or browser application, so there's a lot really easy to use, and you can just jump in there and send me a battle request. Feel free to join, and I hope to see you guys all out there this week for our PU Evil Team battles. It seems fitting that PU for the Evil Team, that seems to work. So, thank you guys so much for all your battles, and for watching and commenting and liking and all that jazz. I greatly appreciate it. These subscriber engagement series are always so much fun. So, I feel bad that it's been so long since we've done one, but here we go. This has been nice and refreshing. This version, season 3, has been like the least work-intensive version for me, and I think this is great. We could do one of these all the time, because it's just like, hey, especially with me working from home for COVID, I'm just kind of home anyway. So yeah, ping me on Discord. Let's do a battle. It seems to have worked out pretty well for most of us. So I'm enjoying this. Hopefully we'll get to do more of these going forward. But anyway, guys, I'm Tortimer Gray, and you guys have been great. Make sure to those likes, comments, subscriptions for me, guys, and I will see you all back here next time. Alrighty, guys, have a good one.